The sponsors deal with the headaches directly. I just make the connection. Yeah.
So have you guys done a 1031 or anything like that? Or do you have investors that come in with 1031 money that, into your funds or anything like that you have to deal with?
Plenty. So just to clarify, I wear a few hats in the commercial real estate space. Number one, I'm a realtor. Number two, I'm an investor. That's more my husband's division. But I often source the deals. So I tell people that I'm an investor. I source the deals for the team. And then number three, I connect equity for other sponsors. Most of what I do is connect co-GPs and JVs. Okay. So yes, I'm dealing with a lot of 1031s. And I also have a fund where I raise from limited partners as well. So I wear several hats in the real estate space.
Sure. Okay, cool. And what's your biggest frustration with the capital gains, when it comes to the 1031?
Biggest frustration. I mean, for me, I don't find it frustrating. I find the good one. I find a client with the 1031, it just makes it easier to JV them, as a tick into the deal. The sponsors deal with the headaches directly. I just make the connection.
Very nice.
That's super involved in the actual details of the JV and the 10, how they connect, but I just make the connection. And that's my role.
That's a really good place to be. You don't have to deal with all the back end paperwork.
It sounds easier than it is, though. Oh, I'm actually dealing with a situation right now. It's a 1031. It's just tough, like the negotiations back and forth and the connecting, and it's not as easy as it seems. People are like, "Wow, your job is so glamorous. It's amazing." I'm like, just come see the headache, like, for a minute. This podcast is actually such a relief right now because I'm dealing with 10 headaches and I just shut my phone and I'm not looking at it. I'm talking to you. Thanks for the break.
You're super welcome. I'm glad that we could be of service with you. So, I mean, yeah, and that's true too, right? Like, I think a lot of people think that, a realtor's job, a connector's job is someone who's like, basically the bridge between two parties is easy. If you're brokering a deal, like, it's a lot of work and it's up and down constantly. Because I don't know if this is the same for you, but for me, the deal's on. And then the next day the deal's off, and then the deal's on, and then the deal's off, and then it's never going to close, but then it closes, right? So it's just like it's like a roller coaster, every deal. It's just, I've never had just a deal that's just like, hey, we're in contract, and like, hey, we're closed. It's done. Like I've never had that before. It's always been some sort of issue where there's always fires, right? There's always people putting it out. And
I see it on all levels, as a realtor, as an investor, and as a capital connector. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it all over. And the amount of hours, that's what I tell people. Like when they see, they're like, wow, the job is so glamorous. I want to do what you're doing. They tell me, I say, first of all, come watch me for a day and watch how much stress I go through every single day. That's number one. And number two, I tell people, like, if you ever want to switch your job, you have to love what you're doing, because the amount of hours I put into things that didn't work out, it's like, it's depressing to think about it. But, because I love what I do, I'm able to bounce back and just continue moving on to the next thing because I love it and I'm ready to move on. I put that one to bed and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So you really have to love what you're doing in order to
do
this business, because it's brutal at times.
And one of the things is you might put a deal to bed and it wakes up in the morning. It's back on the table a few months, years later. Like, deals just, I don't know, man. Deals just flow.
Deals.
It makes it fun. Deal flow, right? Like it's a roller coaster ride. Emotionally, physically. I'm exhausted sometimes after I get home, like from like talking with all these people trying to make something work, and it's just like, call this person.
Yeah.
Like, oh my word. Like, it's frustrating, but you do have to love it. I mean, that's just the part of it. It's what makes your value.
Exactly.
So that's cool. Okay. So, you do have some headaches with the 1031, right? People coming in, as with all deals. The reason why we brought that up is because we have a unique strategy, which might be really interesting for your husband if he's the one who deals with all the tax stuff, because you can sell an asset. It doesn't have to just be commercial. It could be a primary home. So if you're doing any sort of luxury out there, you're in New York, it seems like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're doing luxury in New York, it works for a primary home. It can work for a business, it work for stock, work for crypto. So anything that's highly appreciated, you can liquidate the asset and then reinvest the funds into a variety of different assets. It doesn't have to just be real estate like a 1031, and there's no time constraints. So they can go, liquidate their primary home, put, if it's, a $5 million sale, right? And they bought it for $1 million, they have $4 million gain. In New York, your tax is going to be really high. I don't know, 30 something percent at least. So, I mean, they're looking at, I don't know, 1.2 million, give or take, rough numbers. So that's an extra 1.2 million they can use to invest. They could put, $1 million into your fund. And then they could put the other, $1 million into some ETFs and liquid grade securities, and then the other ones into some gold or whatever. They get to diversify cash flow, reposition their equity. It also helps break up syndications and stuff. So if you were going to move and you don't want to go with Johnny or whoever else is in the deal that's really rubbing you guys the wrong way, or he wants out, he's whatever he needs, he won't blow the deal up because you all have to move and he doesn't want to. So you have to buy him out and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of benefits to it. You guys can learn more about that by going to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. We also have a mastermind every Friday at 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm sorry, 1 p.m. Eastern.